The SFDC Academy Livestream podcast video extraordinaire get together that Peter and I have every week or two.
Extraordinaire.
Yeah, you know, it's always a pleasure to be chatting with you, Peter.
Indeed.
Here we are again.
It is a pleasure for you to be chatting with me. That's not the way I meant it then. It's always good to have a chat. And certainly good to chat about stuff that we like talking about and some of the stuff we got today.
Yeah, so we thought today we're going to dive into some news that came out around about a week ago, I think now, which was the announcement of Salesforce Revenue Cloud. Because there weren't enough clouds already, isn't that right, Peter?
I'm sure they're running out of names for clouds. What if they hold internal competitions for what should we name this cloud this week? There is a lot. Revenue Cloud is the new one off on the street. So my first reaction was, right, but what's it cover? What is it? What is Revenue Cloud?
Yeah. So let's dig in for people and let's kind of use this announcement post from Salesforce as a bit of a starting point for us. So, here we are. They're saying we want to accelerate revenue growth across any channel, and I think as we get into it, that's the key takeaway here for me. Is it's about the fact that your customers now want to buy from you across multiple channels, and you need to have a consistent experience. And especially in a B2b sales world where you've got different pricing rules and discounts and different aspects of play that mean no matter where they come through, you need to be able to provide that same accuracy and opportunity for purchase.
I get the feeling it's a recognition also that things are more than just sales. Obviously, we've got Sales Cloud, but it's actually a lot more than that. There are a lot more elements that we're now capturing and we can see inside Salesforce around the rest of the sale. So it makes sense to sort of bundle that away and as a separate type of offering. And looking at what it covers, although I may jump ahead a bit. So it's covering CPQ and billing, partner relationship management, and B2b commerce, which are big, chunky pieces of technology in themselves. So
yeah, and that's the reality that they're sort of saying, I guess, is that one customer could buy direct through a sales rep, could buy through a partner channel that you've got, or they could buy through a commerce channel as well.
Yeah,
and the need to tie that all together, so that so the customer has a fantastic experience that's consistent across, but B, so that the back office actually knows how you're interacting with them, and bringing those together. If those are all in siloed systems, and let's say you go to a rep for a quote over here who has no visibility that you've ordered, X through the online channel over here, and maybe that's entitling you to some kind of volume discount or some other rule that kicks in. If that information's siloed, the rep can't make the best recommendation or sale. Likewise with things like cross sells. They could make the mistake of trying to cross-sell you a product that you actually bought online last week, and then you end up looking silly.
And I think, and then take that the other way. If you've got B2b Commerce Cloud there, then I want to be able to set those offers that I should be getting based on my complete history and everything. So getting them served up directly online would be you wouldn't be able to do it unless these things are all tied together. So yeah, makes sense in that regard too.
Yeah, and so one of the key things, I'll just highlight it here, because this is an area that I believe in the past integrators have kind of had to build custom kind of experiences, is that there's a new CPQ to B2b Commerce Connector. It's a bit of a mouthful, but get it right.
There's a lot of TLAs in there.
But really tying together those two products so that your B2B buying experience respects all of your CPQ rules and offers, so that the customer is essentially getting a self-service version of what the rep would do.
So does it mean we have the rules in CPQ and only in CPQ? We don't have to replicate them anywhere else?
I would sincerely hope so.
Yeah.
Can't guarantee it. But,
wasn't expecting you to have the answer to that, by the way. That would make perfect sense, wouldn't it? And again, I mean, we've seen things like that before, where you try to have the same rules in different locations. You know that they're going to fall over. As much as you try and keep things in sync, they're prone to issues because of that. So that connector and that being in real time would be, a massive step forward again. So it's good to like how things are being stitched together.
And I think it actually promotes this connector will be a really good thing for the B2B commerce product. Because I don't know about you, but when I'm buying things, I like to, if someone's got an online configurator type offering where I can explore different combinations of things and really tailor a product I'm purchasing to my own needs and kind of see how combining different things affects the price and different things. A lot of people enjoy that, and if you can. I can imagine a scenario before where it's kind of like, okay, the vanilla offering's available through the online channel, but please contact your rep if you want any variation on that channel, on that. So, then people get frustrated and it's like, well, I have to wait till tomorrow because you typically do these things in the evening when you're just mucking around, maybe. And so then you just might not ever get around to it, or it's a frustration or a barrier, whereas this will really bring those B2B commerce experiences to life in a way that someone can self-serve all of their needs if set up right. That's the caveat on all of this. It's got to have all the data and all the rules to really enable a first-class experience.
Yeah. It also caters to those people like myself who just prefer to do things online and not actually interacting personally with anybody at all. So
I think for a lot of people, having to contact a rep, might be the thing that scares them off. I was trying to zoom in on that, and it did not let me. But so we can see in this screenshot here, we've got the example of usage tiers, and so the ability for a user to see how that affects the price depending on the different usage that they commit to, and therefore the volume kind of discount that they would get going through a process and exposing that directly to the end user. And I believe, just again reading the text here, you might have a scenario where you could actually halfway through putting together a deal, go between the rep adding to the deal and the customer self-serving. Okay. So maybe the customer goes through the configurator, the cart, they kind of build up a cart, get it to a certain point, and then before they kind of click purchase, the rep has the opportunity to review that cart and say, actually, you didn't, if you thought about adding this product, you really should buy an extended warranty for that one. I can add that for you, and I can add a special discount that you won't get online, and sort of combine the best of both worlds to start to bring that together.
It's good because it really then drives a personalised experience, which is interesting. I mean, because we're talking about B2B here as well, not B2C. B2C seem to have more of that, wanting that more personalised experience. So it's interesting getting that flavour coming through the B2B space.
Yeah, for sure. This next part is the first bit that kind of refers to velocity, which we've talked about in the past. And it looks like they've taken some of the technology that the velocity solution had and starting to apply that to new ways and industry-specific ways. So some unique workflows And they talk about here as an example, ad inventory for content syndications for media companies. So, if you've got very specific workflows and an industry where they have solutions that will take your implementation time is going to be a lot quicker. And what are they saying here? Start to finish in 8 weeks using their quick starts, which is quite impressive in an enterprise environment. I think we both know that that'll really be dictated by how fast the enterprise can move themselves as opposed to the technology. But as long as if the technology is not the handbrake, then that's got to be a good thing.
Yeah, I mean that's still extremely extremely fast to spin something up. So again, because it's so complex too, that's the other thing you've got to keep in mind. So
yeah, exactly. So other kind of parts to this that seem to come in is an analytics piece. So we've clearly got some dashboards included based on the Einstein Analytics platform. Again, tying together, I guess, many of these different channels that may have been siloed previously. If I guess there's existing customers out there who may have had one solution for commerce and a different solution for reps and CPQ, and therefore potentially had different reporting platforms or had to do more integration effort to tie all that data together to get a single view of what their revenue and forecasts were looking like. So that would be out of the box, I imagine, here. Just bring all of that together.
Integrations to ERP systems,
and that's the next thing. I don't know. I think at the bottom here we talked about which clouds are really included. So it doesn't actually talk about Salesforce billing, does it? Which is kind of there it is, billing. Yeah. I am forgiven. So it is really right up to that quote to cash, and then integration to ERP and financials.
Yeah. Interesting move.
So this, I guess there's aspects of this that suit the bigger end of town, more complex selling. But I wonder over time if even small to mid-sized businesses are going to have to offer different ways of selling. And if this can be as out of the box as possible, you may have less complexity in your pricing rules, less complexity elsewhere, but the same ability to serve customers through multiple channels would be a big win, particularly if it's as turnkey as possible.
Yeah.
Now, we both know it's never quite that easy, but we'll see how that transpires over time.
Yeah. And then it'll also be interesting to see if they extend it further into the B2C stuff as well, which would be interesting.
And for now, as far as we know, the B2C stuff is still the Demandware platform. I believe it's being rebuilt or just has in that process. What will that look like? What advantages does that bring once it's native on the platform completely? And how they can bring that together in a B2C sense. Feels like it fits very much in the customer 360 marketing cloud kind of space to really understand a mass market of consumers, understand their buying habits, bring all of that together, really put some nice analytics over the top of that to understand a large customer base.
Yeah.
But the problem is now, if we go back to our opening statement, what would they call that? It can't be called Revenue Cloud. It would Consumer Cloud.
Yeah, I was just about to say it would be something like that. Well, maybe not. Yeah, Consumer Cloud sort of makes sense. I was going to say Customer Cloud, but that's a bit wide. Maybe they'll run a competition internally to come up with a name. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to find out actually through one of our contacts how products are named. That's got to be an interesting process in itself.
I'm sure it is. So I'm wondering whether this is going to be one of the things that's going to be talked about during the keynote, the Dreamforce keynote.
Or
I think it's
maybe
2nd
that's
of December, I think it is.
Yeah, it's a good place to us to extend our last conversation and wrap up for this week. Perhaps so as I understand it, the keynote is December 2nd US time, so that will be December 3rd for us here in Australia and New Zealand. Completely online event, obviously. It'll be really interesting to see the level of effort they kind of go to put it together. We've had a flavour of that from the different regional events that have been happening around the world this year. There's some reasonable production value that we've seen put in. I can't imagine they will go to the extremes that Apple have gone for their recent online keynotes to announce the iPhone.
Must have been. I haven't seen any of that.
Oh, those were next level in terms of what you could do from an online keynote announcement. But no doubt they will have something in mind, and I'm sure there will be a musical guest as well. I think we've seen that already at the regional events. I think there's a partner event I saw next week that has just for APAC, and it has a band included.
I missed that bit.
No, I'll send you the link to that one after this. So
just about the band. I'm actually signed up for it. So,
so there's a bit happening around the place at the moment, and we'll see what gets announced. This will be part of it, I'm sure, but I'm sure there'll be something else up their sleeve as well.
Yeah.
always an exciting time when it comes to Dreamforce. Even if it is online, it's going to be,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's still going to have all the bells and whistles.
Yeah. So I think, Peter, we'll wrap it up at this point for this week, and we're getting close to that Dreamforce keynote, so we'll no doubt do a playback and review after that, and have our take and spin on what was announced. Until then, thanks everyone, and we'll see you next time.
See you then.